Hi everyone. In middle school or high school, you probably learned that you can't divide by zero, but you probably didn't learn why you can't divide by zero. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to explain why any number divided by zero is not equal to infinity, as some calculators would have you believe, but rather it's mathematically inadmissible, and we have no choice but to say that any number divided by zero is undefined. So in order to understand this, we just have to go back to our definition of division. What does it mean to divide two numbers? So let's say we want to divide a and b, and we'll call this number n. What we're doing here is we're asking the question, how many times must I add b to itself in order to equal a? And that number is equal to n. So for example, if a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 5, then 10 divided by 5 is equal to 2, because 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. You have to add 5 to itself twice in order to equal 10, so n is equal to 2 in this case. So let's apply this logic to the case where the denominator is equal to 0. So in this example, a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 0. So we'll go ahead and we'll ask ourselves the same question. How many times must you add 0 to itself in order to equal 10? Well, we can try a few things. We can try 0 plus 0, that's equal to 0, so 2 doesn't work. We can add 0 to itself 3 times, and that's still equal to 0. We can add 0 to itself 5 times, 10 times, 1,000 times, an infinite number of times. It's always going to be 0. We're never going to get any closer to the answer. It's just we're always stuck at 0. So we can't attach any specific number to n in this case. N is undefined, or 10 divided by 0 in this case is undefined. There's no mathematical quantity we can attach to it. Now, at this point, you may be thinking to yourself, well, what about the case where a is also equal to 0? So what if the numerator is equal to 0 too? So we have a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 0. And we're asking ourselves the question this time, how many times must I add 0 to itself in order to equal 0? And right away you may think, well, isn't this a solution to this equation 0? Because if I add 0 to itself 0 times, then you get 0. And you'd be right, that is a solution to the equation. But the problem is that, as we showed on the previous page, 0 plus 0 is equal to 0, so 2 is a solution to the equation. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is equal to 0, so 3 is also a solution to the equation. 5 is a solution to the equation, 1,000 is a solution to the equation. There are an infinite number of solutions to this equation this time around, so we have the exact opposite problem. Before, there were no solutions to the equations, and now we have an infinite number of solutions to the equation, but none of them are unique. So no matter which way you slice it, dividing by 0 doesn't make any sense mathematically. We can never come up with a number to attach to n, so n is undefined. In mathematics, if we can't give it a number, we say that it's undefined. So that's why you can't divide by 0.